Welcome back to Armchair Safari, the daily stream where I try to become a better designer and you try to become a better designer by looking at a piece of design that we found online, trying to figure out what we can learn from this, looking at what is good about it, what is bad about it, and does this work for the end user, the most important thing. So today, actually, first piece out tomorrow, I'm not going to be doing a stream because I'm stuck at an airport the entire day. So tomorrow there's no stream. If you want to join in the debate, or if you have a something you see in the design that you'd like to discuss, there's a chat somewhere around the window. But anyway, let's dive into this, right? Okay, so today we're looking at this really cool morphing drop-down sidebar by Sebastiano Guerriero by Sebastiano. So let's first just have a look. Let's get rid of messages. Let's first just get a first impression. Boom. Yeah, really freaking cool. For my first impression is this is super smooth and super slick. It also is kind of nice that this reminds me of like the purple from Slack, back from when Slack was actually cool. Sidebars like this are prevalent everywhere right now. In this case, it looks like he's basing this on something like a collaborative workspace like Slack or Discord or Teams. Yeah, I mean, this is a pattern that we see a lot, that we have a background menu where you can navigate between the different views, and on top of that there's a different card that has like the rest of the navigation, because this is the section that you're navigating in. That makes a lot of sense. Let's slow this down and check the design a little bit closer. Let's do it a 50 here and go back to the pop. Ooh, that was beautiful. Look at that. Boom. Wow. Okay. So I get the morphing part now. So normally these things just pop up from nowhere. In this case, we see, oh my God, that was a really nice detail. So let's see if we can find the exact situation where this happens. Oh no, I can't scroll the video. So let's just try that. Yeah, here we go. So the area itself, the pop-up itself, just doesn't animate into the position. It animates just its opacity of the background and drop shadow. So it's already there. It's just coming into the view. But the content is sliding in from the side. So you get this effect where the entire thing sort of pops out of the more button. You get this really nice morphing effect. And not only that, but look at this. Yeah, there's a bit of an overshoot. So it's coming back to the animation principles from Disney, the squish and stretch. Here we have the content actually bouncing past where it's supposed to be and then coming back to rest where it is, helping your eye understand what happened, even though it was super freaking quick. That is just incredibly beautiful, really well done. And then what happens when you slide over to activity? The content slides down, the selector slides up, and the box itself both morphs in size and slides up. So that is incredibly cool. So what I think is happening here is that he is animating out one piece of content and animating in another piece of content at the same time, which creates this really strange image in the video. But from your perception, it just looks like the content of the box is morphing into the new content. So it looks like you're sliding from one. This is a really hard thing to communicate. So it looks like the box itself is basically rotating through two pieces of content. So it's like switching out the content and adapting to the size of it. This is something, I love these kind of effects because this is something that is completely fully digital. You could not do this with a metaphor. This does not exist anywhere in the real world. It's something that is completely digital first, and it only makes sense from the perspective of the world we're building up in the digital artifacts. So like we are creating in the minds of our users, we're creating a logic to how this UI works and how content relates to each other. And in this case, like what we're doing is something that has no physical metaphor. It just looks really freaking awesome digitally. And then when we, let's see what happens when you unhover the activity, the content slides out and the opacity goes to 0. That is just beautiful. It's very simple. Simple is usually the best with animations, but the fact that it does overshoot a little bit and this morph between the two is just incredibly beautiful. Let's see it again in a half speed. Bounce in, morph to the other part, and slide out. That's beautiful. Yeah, that is incredibly beautiful. So what is good about this? There's a ton of stuff we could say that's good about this. The stacking of animations is incredible. There's not a single animation where you would pick one out and say, wow, this is the only thing that's happening right now. There's pretty much consistently 2 or 3 things happening at the same time, creating a very organic animation. The paddings, the visuals of the things that we're looking at are brilliant. The contrasts are really, really great. The color choices and the contrast of the colors are really great. The typography is excellent. It's simple, but it's super clear that Sebastiano really knows his stuff, because it's just a very, very, very clear, very clean design that totally works from most of the basic standpoints. Even the empty screen when the animations are gone, like this is a really beautiful skeleton loader screen. That's a wonderful placeholder, and there's even like a tiny bit of a border and inner shadow, making this seem a little rounded or a little glassy. And here we even have on the outer border, there's even like a double border, making it seem slightly 3D. So there's a lot going on in the details here that is just really, really excellent, that we don't even see because we're just looking at the animation. The animation itself is brilliant, follows animation's principles really well, has this internal consistent logic that is just beautiful. It's very clean, it's very, very quick. Let's actually see it in real time again. Is it too slow? Because that tends to happen a lot, especially when we're looking at animations. No, that is a brilliant animation. It is pretty much just right. You're never going to end up waiting for that or thinking about, wow, there is something animating on my screen now. You're just going to feel this as like, wow, this is a responsive and morphy sort of UI. That looks absolutely wonderful. What is bad about this? What could I improve upon, or what could I learn from this that I could avoid doing myself? That's a tough one. Wow. Honestly, I don't have anything I would improve here. Like just off the top of my head, I'm a little tired, so I might not be as snappy as usual, but I don't see any low-hanging fruit in this design. Like anything that is a simple tweak or anything like that. There's so much of the basics that is just really, really well crafted here, that I don't see any of this being a problem. I love, by the way, that this drop shadow is so close in color to the background that you create this like almost as if it's a ray tracing light effect. So it's there, you can feel it, but it's kind of hard to see because it literally just looks like it's obscuring the light on the background a little bit. That's wonderful. Okay, and the most important test, would this work for the end user? Now, this is clearly an exploration. This is not a real app. This is just an example of what this could look like in a real app, but it looks great. it's a really good solution for a morphing navigation. The user would love it. It's this type of detail that makes the total difference in this makes the real difference in user experience, where this makes something feels like it's fun, bouncy, approachable, something you can really work with. Whereas it's never going to be boring or bland. Basically, it looks like it's really in there. And we have Michael Summer in the chat. Hey, Michael, nice to see you in here. Any thoughts on this? I would be happy to share. But so from a design perspective, I think this really totally works for the user. Just looking at the app itself is actually kind of interesting at this point, because Sebastiano made this exploration as an example only, I think. At least I couldn't see if he's worked on this app anymore, but I think this is just an exploration. And just looking at the app itself, it's super logically consistent. Like home DM's activity, and when he's looking through these things, like the more has an additional level of stuff, and it's all of the things that you would actually find in an app like this. And in the activity, it looks like it's a very serious like activity log. Like the app itself looks like it's properly designed and well thought out. So I gotta say, I'm really freaking impressed. This is just really good stuff. Oh no, and Mikkel just weighed in and said the stream freezes periodically. It could be my internet actually, because I'm in a very shitty Airbnb in Lisbon and the internet connection here is pretty bad. So sorry about that. Sorry guys, that means that you might not have seen all of the details, but as usual, you can find this design example so you know what I'm talking about in the description below or in the next post if you're on X. And yeah, that's it for today. No stream tomorrow because I'm at an airport, so I see you again on Thursday. If you have another design that you think I should look at, give it to me. I would be super happy to look at it and try to learn from it. This is the daily design stream. I call it Armchair Safari because it's a funny name, where we try to become better designers by looking at a piece of design we found online and just walking through it and critiquing it and figuring out what we might take away from that as a learning. So this was it for today. See you in 2 days. Have a nice one.